Please like, subscribe, share, comment, uh, anything like that. My videos are free. I don't charge anything. I don't get paid for any of my videos. So every little interaction helps get it out to more people. So thanks a lot and enjoy the video. Here's one I want to touch on: divorce and adultery laws. Now, you may know divorce is not a thing here in the Philippines, except for the Muslim religion. Muslims can get divorced, and some people think, oh, if I want to get a divorce, I can just tell them I'm Muslim. Well, no, you have to prove you're a practicing Muslim and have been for a long time before they allow that. So, uh, anybody that tells you, oh, you can just go and convert to Muslim real fast, get the divorce, and what? No, that won't work. Annulments are very expensive. They're take a very long time to get, and they can be denied. Even after you go through that whole process, they can come back and say, no, we're going to deny this. The government can deny it. And the reason no divorce in the Philippines is the Catholic Church. Catholics have so much influence here in the Philippines in the government that every time there's a bill brought up for divorce, the Catholic Church comes out and pretty much squashes it. Which to me, that's, you shouldn't be mixing religion with government, but this is not a country. So that's one thing you have to consider. Like, if you always hear adultery is a crime, you can go to jail for it. But how that works is, if, say, you're with a married woman and the husband wants to press charges against you and have you put in jail, he has to have the wife put in jail too. And in like, I talked to a lawyer about this case. Say the guy left the family 20 years ago, left the children, left the wife, went and started a family with another girl. They're still married on paper, what we call paper married. But if he decides he wants to blackmail you or threaten to have you thrown in jail, you have one protection, according to this lawyer. If he did it first, he can't go to the court with dirty hands, because he can face the same consequences because he did it too. He did it in the first place. So it would be stupid for him to try that. So that's how, in a situation like that, with somebody that hasn't had contact with their husband for many years and he's got a family somewhere else, you're kind of protected in that regard. I'm not saying go out and do that, but that's how the law here works. There is crime of passion law here. So if a husband and wife is together and they catch you cheating with their wife, or catch a wife cheating, or a wife catches a husband cheating with somebody, they can actually kill them and get away with it. A crime of passion. Because in the heat of a moment, you see this and you just get passionate and kill them. Well, and you can't be convicted, or probably won't get convicted for it. Now, that doesn't mean you can wait a month and stalk them and kill them. That means, I think, you'd have to check a lawyer. I'm no lawyer, but from Philippine law, the way I understand it, it's in the heat of the moment. So you're going to mess around with a married lady that's with her husband, consider that. Dangerous. What can kill you or possibly get somebody else killed? Now, here's one that really bothers me the most. Outside of crime, you, of course, like any country, you have crime here. People get killed. And you got to know where to go and where not to go, just like in America. There's some places in America I would not step foot in because of the crime. And there's a few places like that here as well. Like any country, I think any country has that. It's not just Philippines. Philippines gets certain areas gets a bad rap because of past history, and they've done a lot to clean Mindanao up. There's still places I would not go here, but I feel very safe here. But the snakes is probably my biggest fear. I am very scared of snakes, and you do have cobras here. Philippine cobra, the spitting cobra, and there's a couple other poisonous snakes here I haven't studied that much on, but I always keep my eye to the ground for snakes. Uh, Cobras here, from what I understand and have read, if you get bit by one, you're dead in 15 minutes. Well, here in the province, I'm more than 15 minutes from a hospital. And even if you are close to a hospital, chances are they have the antivenom are very low. And I just heard a couple of days ago that it was in Thailand, not in the Philippines, but a person got bit by a cobra and died. And I don't know the statistics here in the Philippines. I haven't looked them up, but it's happened here. Another thing is rabies. Like I said before, people here don't neuter and spay their dogs. There's no leash law that I know of. Most people don't keep their dogs on a leash. And you have a lot of feral dogs running around. Even if they're not feral, you have a lot of dogs running around. I looked at the end of my driveway a while back, and there was 9 dogs out there. Sometimes they get barking at each other and fighting, and that's where some of the noise comes from here. But you got to be conscious of rabies because I have seen reports of people dying here from rabies. Traffic is a big one. Now, this is the one where you could possibly be in danger of injuring or killing someone else, or it, you could be killed. I have seen a couple of accidents where people have been killed. Anne's known a couple of young people that got killed on motorbikes. I know of a girl waiting for school one morning, a car run off the road, hit her and killed her. And the traffic here is terrible. It's like an obstacle course being on the road. There's no stop signs around here, no traffic control, uh, nothing like that. I've seen a couple of cities with stoplights. I've seen one in Dipolog and a few in Zamboanga on the peninsula here. But other than that, no real traffic control. In Ipil, they are putting up a light. The light's been hanging there for about, oh God, I think almost a month, but it's not turned on. It's just a light hanging. No, the traffic light's not working. But that's the only traffic light I know within 3-hour drive of here. The only traffic control we really have that I've seen here is you might see speed limit sign sometimes on the national highway. You might see no entry sign. It's not like a one-way street sign like we have in America or anything like that. It's just a hand-painted sign that says no entry. That means it's one way. So you got to be careful and watch for those. But along the road, like national highway is 4 lanes. The side roads can get very, very narrow, barely enough room to get you and a small vehicle through. Now I drive a Nissan pickup, so it can be a challenge on some of these roads. And just because the national highway is 4 lanes, don't think you can drive in the right lane, because the right lane, you'll have vehicles parked. It's used as a parking lot. People walking on it, people laying rice out to dry on it. So you have a long stretch where it's open, if there's a motorcycle, say, beside my truck, I keep an eye out. If there's something up ahead on the side of the road, that motorcycle, to avoid what's ahead, will cut right in front of you. They won't look a lot of times. They'll just merge over. They're not watching for you. They expect you to watch for them. I can't count the many times I went to make a left turn and somebody in another vehicle or a motorcycle, I'm there with my left turn signal on, going to make a left turn, and they'll pass me on the left instead of going around to the right. I've seen people with right turn signals on, make a left turn. So don't depend on turn signals here when they use them. Traffic control doesn't really exist at all. If there's any traffic laws, they're not followed at all. So you hit on the road, like if you're riding a motorbike, and I will not ride one here. I have motorcycles in America I'll ride, but I will not get on a motorcycle in the Philippines because I see how people drive. They'll follow within inches of the back of a motorcycle. And a motorcycle, you have danger of dogs, chickens. I've seen carabao on the road, cows, goats, people, of course, walking on the road. They don't yield right away to traffic if they're on that side lane. Even on a small street, they won't get out of your way. You have all kinds of obstacles on the road. Motorcycles, if you're stopped somewhere, they'll zoom, crowd in front of you to get it out in front of you. People will pass on a curve, blind curve, not able to see anything. And I've had a bus full of passengers pass me on a blind curve, not knowing what's coming around that corner. It's like they don't care. So traffic is one big thing you got to consider. If you plan on driving here, you got to be on your toes, and you better learn to drive like a Filipino in some instances. Because if you get to a place where traffic's heavy and there's no stop signs, no traffic control devices at all, you could be sitting there a long time before you get out. So you got to learn how to kind of inch your way out there and get out, cut people off without getting hit. You also have natural disasters like flooding. People have been killed by flooding here. Typhoons. There's an average of 20 typhoons a year here in the Philippines. Most of that's up in Luzon, Manila area, and a little bit south of there. We don't get that many this far south on the island where I am, and being there's a lot of land mass and mountains between me and that side of the ocean where they'd be coming from, they usually don't hit here. Get a lot of rain, and some wind, but not much as far as typhoons. Mudslides, get a lot of mudslides. I think it was last year, maybe year before us, over in Davao on the other side of the island here. There were a lot of people killed in mudslides from the heavy rains. Volcanoes, we've had a few volcanoes go off recently on the other islands. There's none of them near me that I am aware of. No problem with that here, but there have been people killed in the past from volcanoes eruptions. Earthquakes. We've had some very strong earthquakes on some of the islands recently, and we've had few people die because of earthquakes. I think biggest one recently was 70 people killed in Cebu area. I felt a few earthquakes here, a few small tremors, and one was pretty strong, but by the time we got out of the house it was over. But so we don't so far have not got hit with them too hard here, but the other north of us and the other side of the island have had some pretty strong earthquakes. Getting a job or working in the Philippines. Don't come here expecting to get a job. If you're on a tourist visa, you can't work on that anyway. Like any country, if you're on a tourist visa, you're not allowed to work. But even if you get a work visa or something that says you're allowed to work here, chances of finding a job are very slim. They don't want foreigners coming in the country taking jobs away from Filipinos because, you know, a lot of poverty. It's hard to find a job here. So they don't want you competing with the locals for a job. And even if you could find one, can you live on $10 a day? Because that's basically what they get paid, maybe less. I mean, the Filipinos can do it, but can you? If you work at a job where you can work anywhere in the world by computer or whatever, yeah, you can come here and do that. And they do have a visa for what they call nomads. People come here to live permanently and work remotely. But one thing you've got to consider is the electrical grid. We have electricity go out several times a month. Usually, a SAN says when it gets close to time to pay the electric bill, that's when we start getting electric outages. But sometimes you can go all day with no electricity. That means no internet. Sometimes you can have the internet go down if there's a problem somewhere else. People say the internet here is no good. Here, it's pretty decent. We got fiber here, and I've never had a real problem with the speed of the internet. Just sometimes, you know, it went down a couple of times, and because of the electrical problems. But don't come here expecting to find work. That's very slim. I don't think it would happen. Visas and exit clearance. Now, there are several different types of visas, but the most common one, of course, is a tourist visa. And how that works, you come here first 30 days. You don't need to apply for a visa or anything before you come. You just come, you get 30 days. Now, this is America and some other countries. This does not apply to all countries. It's just certain countries. But once that 20 days is up, you can get what's called a waiver. That's good for 29 days. Everybody calls it a visa extension. No, that's a waiver for 29 days. After that, you can file for extensions, and those are 30 days or 2 months. You can get a 1 or 2 month extension. Used to be 6 months, but they've cut that out. My first time after my first waiver was 6 months, but they don't. 2 months is the max now. So every 2 months you have to pay and renew that visa. And don't let it expire, because if you stay here on an expired visa, there's fines, which is a big cost, and you can be blacklisted from the country. Now, once you've been here for 6 months, well, let me do this one first. When you come in on that first 30 days, you have to buy a ticket out. It doesn't matter what your reason to plan to stay. If you're on a tourist visa, you have to have a ticket out within that 30 days. What I usually do when I had to do that, coming into the country, I would buy a cheap ticket, say to Malaysia or Singapore, and just throw it away, not use it. That way, when I came in through immigration, I could show that I had a ticket out and be good. Then I could throw the ticket away, get my visa extension waiver or whatever, and do it that way. Now you can tourist visa up to 36 months. But after that 36 months, you have to leave the country. And when you come back, everything starts all over from scratch. So you have that to consider when you come here. If you want to come for long term, you do have to do the visas and the ACR card, which is a yearly renewal on that. And your first visa extension, you have to apply for that and get it. Now, 13A visa, that's a different process, which is marriage visa. And of course, there's the SRRV, which I'm on, is a special retirement residency visa, I think it's called. I had to put money into a bank account and it stays there until I leave the country permanently or I buy a condo or something. Thank you, honey.
I'm sorry.
No problem. So you have those visas. And if you're here on a tourist visa, and I've heard on a marriage visa as well, after 6 months, if you leave the country, because I've had to go through this process, you have to get an exit clearance. Now, there's two types. There's exit clearance A, which means tourist visa, you're leaving the country, and there's, or not, yeah, exit clearance A, it's called ECC. There's the ECCA, and then there's the ECCB, which we would use on a marriage visa, which means you're leaving the country, but you're coming back. Also, when you come into the country, I forgot to mention, before you get here within 3 days, you have to register with eTravel Philippines, and it's a free service. The sites that say they charge you for this, no. If you go to the Philippine website, government website, and follow it, it doesn't cost you anything. And don't get rude or make jokes with immigration when you come in the country. Because there's a story, there's one guy, he came in, he didn't do his e-travel, so immigration told him, go over here, fill out the e-travel, then come back. Well, he got all angry and upset and got rude, and he wrote a bunch of stuff on the e-travel, like FU under his name or something like that, and he was blacklisted from the country, never allowed back, not allowed into the country. So be aware of that. Don't try to joke. If you make a joke and the culture's not the same, they don't understand the same jokes we do. If they take it wrong, you could be booted out of the country. So just, yes, sir, no, ma'am, attend to your business with immigration when you're coming into the country or leaving the country for that matter. Be respectful. Now, is the clearance I was talking about, the exit clearance. Now, they say that can be done at the airport, but I've heard maybe not. It's better to go in a week or so before your flight out, get it taken care of. And it took me about 3 days in Cebu to do it. So give yourself time for that. And there is a charge for that, of course. And what the ECC is, or Immigration Clearance Certificate, is they want to check before you leave the country if you've been in any trouble, if there's any court cases you have to go to, or if you have to be a witness or something, that you are here for that. Or if you've committed a crime, that you go to jail for that or whatever. So that's what that is. And after 6 months, you have to do that. And this applies to marriage visas as well. And those, I think the first one has to be renewed in a year, and then after that, I think you can apply for permanent residency. Now, on the special retirement visa, I don't have to do the ECC. That's one reason that I got that, because less hassle. I don't have to travel anywhere to get it taken care of. I can just go and come as I please. So that's, I mean, it's costly for the special retirement visa, but it has its benefits. You don't have to renew tourist visas, you don't have to have exit clearance, anything like that. So consider those. And like I said, don't come here on a tourist visa and do any kind of work. And I could work if I wanted to with this RRV, but it is a separate form I have to fill out and get permission to do it. I guess it's kind of like a work visa in that respect, on top of the SRRV. So even if it's SRRV, don't think you can just work. You can't. So I think that pretty much covers everything. My 10 subjects I wanted to talk about. So hopefully you gained some helpful information. I gave you some information that you didn't know before, or if I just rehashed the same old thing, you got bored, just let me know. Sorry about that. So thanks for watching. Have a good one. Bye, y'all.